I stepped into the elevator like it was any other Tuesday. Neutral walls, soft lighting, the mechanical hum beneath my feet. Just me, the chrome doors, and the promise of 5 quiet floors up to my office. But that silence shattered before it even began. A voice cut through from behind, sharp, unmistakably irritated. "Wow, just stepped in, huh? Didn't even let anyone else on first." At first, I thought I misheard her. I turned, blinked. A woman stood just behind me with an elderly couple at her side. I hadn't seen them. I hadn't heard them. But from her expression, it was already too late for explanations. I apologized. Sincerely. Told her I didn't realize anyone was behind me, that there was plenty of room, that it wasn't a big deal. But that wasn't enough. Not for her. She stepped inside with the couple and kept going. Not with questions. Not with conversation. With accusations. "People like you are what's wrong with the world," she spat, loud enough for the small metal box to become suffocating. No manners, no decency, just rude. Every sentence she launched was another punch, and I stood there, silent at first, trying to breathe through it. I'd already apologized, tried to make peace, but she didn't want peace. She wanted a villain, and apparently, that villain was me. Each floor felt like an eternity. Her voice didn't waver. If anything, it grew steadier. Like she'd rehearsed these lines for a moment just like this. Like my accidental offense unlocked something bitter inside her that she'd been dying to unleash. I nodded. I avoided eye contact. I tried to retreat into the far corner, hoping she'd lose interest. But she didn't. And somewhere between the second and third floor, something inside me cracked. I didn't yell, but I raised my voice enough to cut through hers. I looked at her and said, as evenly as I could you just keep your comments to yourself? Silence. She went quiet, finally. But the elderly couple beside her, they weren't done. I couldn't hear the words exactly, but they leaned in and whispered to her. Then they both looked at me, and it wasn't a neutral look. It was disappointment. It was judgment. And just like that, I wasn't sure anymore. Was I the jerk? It was a simple elevator ride. But now, hours later, the memory still played on repeat. I didn't see them behind me. I wasn't trying to cut in or rush ahead. There was no urgency, no bad intention. Just me, stepping into an elevator. Alone, I thought, until it became anything but. I go over it again in my head. How she immediately assumed the worst about me. How my apology didn't register. How she treated a stranger like a target. And how the moment I finally stood up for myself, it felt like I'd proved her point. What gets me is how much space this is taking in my mind. Over a ride that lasted, maybe 60 seconds. But I think what haunts me isn't the length of the ride. It's the echo of her voice. The way her words twisted something ordinary into something heavy. Because I just wanted to get to work. I just wanted peace. I didn't want a confrontation. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I didn't see her. And even after I said that, even after I acknowledged her feelings, she kept hammering at mine. What was I supposed to do? Stay silent the whole time? Let her rant in front of the couple and everyone else and absorb it like I deserved it? There's something dehumanizing about being chastised by a stranger in a small enclosed space. Like your dignity is held hostage until you either break or escape. And for a moment, I felt both. But maybe that's why I said what I did. Maybe that's why I needed to say something. Not to win, but to reclaim something. Still, I wonder what the couple whispered to her after. I wonder what they saw. A rude young man who couldn't let a woman go first, or someone trying and failing to stay composed. Did they see the beginning of the story, or just the ending? It's strange how much weight we give to the glances of strangers. I don't know them. I'll never see them again. But their look stuck with me. It told me I had confirmed their worst assumptions, even if I hadn't meant to. And maybe that's what hurts the most. Not that I was misunderstood, but that I couldn't fix it. That even after I tried to clarify, to calm things down, all I was left with was that look. Still, I go back to the beginning. I think about what actually happened. I was in front of the elevator. No one was visibly beside me. The doors opened. I stepped in. That's it. It wasn't an act of disrespect. It wasn't about entitlement or ego. It was movement. Simple, instinctual. And it somehow triggered something much bigger in her. Maybe she's had days where people really did treat her poorly. Maybe I looked like someone who once dismissed her. Maybe I became a stand-in for every person who ever made her feel invisible. I don't know her story, but she didn't ask for mine either. And that's the hardest part. She judged a moment without giving it space to breathe. No benefit of the doubt, no willingness to hear me, just condemnation. I don't know what else I could have done. I gave her grace. I gave her space. But she didn't want peace. She wanted someone to blame. And I guess, in that moment, I was convenient. So, am I the asshole? There's something so intensely human about this story, because it's not really about elevators or etiquette. It's about how easily we misread each other, how quickly we turn minor moments into moral judgments, how often we confuse frustration for justice. The truth is, we're all walking around carrying things no one else can see. Stress, grief, anger, exhaustion, and sometimes we lash out at the wrong people because they're the nearest, not the guiltiest. But empathy is the one thing that can interrupt that cycle. OP tried. They apologized. They explained. They didn't escalate until it became unbearable. And even then, they drew a boundary with restraint, not rage. Yet the sting lingers, not because of the conflict itself, but because of the misunderstanding. Because we all fear being seen the wrong way, especially when we know we meant no harm. So here's what I want to ask you, listener. Have you ever been judged unfairly for a small mistake? Have you ever tried to do the right thing and still felt like the villain? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your story, because someone else out there needs to hear that they're not alone. And if this made you feel something, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories like this, and remember, you're not crazy, you're not broken, you're human. And sometimes, that's the hardest thing to be.